Hello and welcome to Post-Mortem. Thank you for joining me today. A lot of things rolled around my head when breaking down this case. The biggest question that is asked after such a horrible murder is, why? Why did they do it? Unfortunately, we almost never find out. Unless they leave a note, leave a social media trail, or announce it at the time of the crime. All we can do is speculate. There is so much more known now than ever before. Still, we are often baffled. This case has the hallmarks of a disgruntled citizen. But I can't help but think that it has even more elements of a family annihilator. Many would disagree. Let me break it down, and I invite you to let me know what you think. The family annihilator is intent on killing victims that he knows well. Mostly people of his own family, but they can be his neighbor or a family in the community in which he lives. It is a killing that is demanded on a personal level, and the victims are selected only because they are members of the killer's family, and there is a perceived need to eradicate the family. As we know, Devin Kelley killed 26 people and injured 20 in the First Baptist Church that fateful day. His target was his mother-in-law, but why did he injure so many people? Why target an entire church? And isn't a church in a small community metaphorically, if not actually, a family? He would have known most of the people attending church that day, and 8 members of one family was annihilated. He was a Sunday school teacher at that church for a brief time, until he became an atheist. The authorities that investigated the case said that the massacre was not religiously motivated, but I think there is evidence that points in the direction that it had some elements of being a hate-motivated crime. He became an atheist and was very vocal about it, and was often heard condemning the church. He attended church a few times wearing all black and laughed out loud during the sermon. Some of the attendees even visually searched his body for signs of a concealed weapon. I don't think that a person goes into a church to kill one family member with an arsenal of bullets and a machine gun. So, what was the motivation? When it comes to the family annihilator, there is some motivation that will accompany the kill. The person murders family members for reasons that are part of his own psyche. It lies within their own psychological makeup. Devin Patrick Kelley had problems with authority. He had quite an extensive criminal record, or at least it would have been much worse had the rape charges not been dropped. He abused women. He was a control freak. He was full of rage and he was impulsive. Danielle's adopted mother tried to get Devin Patrick Kelley back to God and the church. She also disapproved of the way Devin treated Danielle, and he didn't like that she tried to help Danielle. Michelle was trying to protect her daughter and her grandchild, but Devin perceived that Michelle was trying to control her daughter, and he was the one in charge. He had to be in control, and it enraged him. He did not let Michelle visit. She was not allowed to go to the birth of her grandchild, and didn't meet him until he was 6 months old. He sent Michelle abusive and threatening text messages. He hated her and he wanted her dead. It seemed that this was his primary motivation and attacking the church was the secondary. So what was the anticipated gain? There are a few reasons why someone would wipe out their entire family or individual members. One reason is because the murderer wants a new life. He no longer wants to be married or a parent. Or they may be having an affair or just want out. And their twisted mind see only murder as a solution, like in the Christopher Watts case. Another reason is for financial gain, inheritance, insurance, or business interests. And a big one is for revenge. Revenge for a perceived wrong. Like how he perceived Michelle trying to control his family. He was going to erase her out of their lives. Spatial mobility is another factor. Spatial mobility is, does he need to leave the area to seek out victims, or does he do it at home? The family annihilator does stay in his home and community. He doesn't travel outside. And his targets were in his hometown. He was widely known in his community as a bully, a criminal, and ironically, a Sunday school teacher. After the murders, family annihilators usually commit suicide by their own hand or by cop. Very rarely do they run. Devin Kelley did both. He took off in his SUV and he was run off the road and then he killed himself. Was he trying to get away? And when he ran into choices, he killed himself? Or was he looking for a way to kill himself from the scene. He called his parents and wife to say sorry and goodbye. So it seems, at least in my opinion, that he intended to kill himself. He could have surrendered at the scene. So there you have it. The disgruntled citizen goes out to kill. He rarely has an intended target. He usually wants to kill as many people as possible, and his purpose is fueled by revenge and rage. Although there are some elements of the disgruntled citizen here, I feel that Family Annihilator is more fitting to the Sutherland Springs Church shooting. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know what your opinion is on this case. Please drop me an email at mindofamassmurderer@gmail.com, or you can comment on Facebook, Mind of a Mass Murderer, or on Twitter @MassMurderPod, and you can also find me on Instagram. Please stay tuned for the next series. It's going to be a good one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Have a nice day.
The mind of a mass murderer. I'm trying not to get worried, but what will make somebody just switch up an innocent child to a savage killer? Evil lurks, feel the energy. What can make them just go on a killing spree? Let's take a dive in the dark, cold water, of the mind of a mass murderer.